Okay. Hey, Shalom, Facebook and YouTube. We'll get started in a second. I'm just starting the TikTok right now. Shalom, we'll pass it by tomorrow. Like and share this video this class. This is the 40 hours. Shalom. Okay. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, like and share. And we're going to get right into it. All right, let's get into it. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Brakadam, Yahweh Shemar Tabashim Yahweh Shah. What I said in Hebrew is Most High in the name of Yahweh Shah of Christ, watch over you. I'm Salaki, bless you. Salaki. Most High in the name of Christ, bless you. And Most High watch over you in the name of Christ. All right. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, as well as TikTok. You understand? So shalom to everybody out there that's watching. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? That really helps this truth get out there. You know what I'm saying? So we can get in the algorithm and all that. Because of course, they don't want you to know this information. They don't want the world to realize the truth about the Bible. And according to the Bible, UFOs do exist. I know you've seen them in the movies. I know you've seen them in Hollywood. You've seen the little, what they call flying saucers that spin around and float through the air, and they zoom off at 1,000,000 miles per second. You understand? And all of that comes straight out of the Bible. They get that whole idea. Hollywood gets the concept of a UFO from the Bible. And we're gonna prove it to you. You understand? We don't sit up here and teach you our own vain thoughts in this school. We go straight to this book right here. This book is called the Holy Bible, as you can see on the front. All right? You understand? This is the King James authorized Bible. And what we do in the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, we read out of the King James Bible, preferably the 1611 version. The 1611 version of the Bible includes the Apocrypha, which are the books that were taken out of the Bible. You understand? You got Ecclesiasticus, the Maccabees, you got Bel and the Dragon, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth, that they took away out of this book. All right? Which shows you that they don't want you to know what's in this book. They're constantly taking things out, they're constantly whitewashing and hiding things that are in this book, which is proof that they don't want you to know what's in it. They want you to think that there are little green men in those so-called UFOs. Well, we know them as chariots, and the only thing green in those chariots is a black man named Christ wearing the green garment, as described in Revelation. You understand? Revelation chapter 1. He's described as a black man wearing a green garment. So not little green men in those UFOs, but it's a big big black man wearing a green garment in those UFOs. Not this guy. This is not in the Bible. Hope y'all can see that. I know y'all see it on TikTok. This right here, this image is not in the Bible. Y'all see that? You see that image? That image is not in the Bible. There's nowhere, there's no description of this pale-faced man in the Bible. He's not there. You won't find it. So what does that tell you, man? They're lying about what's in this book. Even on the cover of the book, they're lying about what's in this book. Right here on the cover. And just to prove it to you, before we even get into our topic, I'll take you to Revelation chapter 1. Just to prove to you that they're lying about this book. And then when I read this scripture, you tell me if this is the image you see based on this description. You tell me if this is the image that is described in Revelation chapter 1. So I'm going to go to Revelation 1. This is in the Bible. It ain't my words. All right. Revelation 1. And I'll start at verse 1. This is the book of Revelation. This is the first chapter, first verse. The revelation of Jesus Christ. So it's giving context. It's telling you exactly what it's talking about. And in order to understand what a revelation is, I'll give you the definition. All right, revelation. This is Google. I would use Siri, but Siri ain't here right now. Or Alexa ain't here right now. All right, so revelation in the dictionary, Oxford Language Dictionary, a surprising or previously unknown fact. This is a perfect description of this word. It says the revelation of Jesus Christ, a surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. Ooh-wee, that's what the book of Revelation is all about. These are surprising facts. That's why I'm here right now, give you a surprising fact about the Bible. That UFOs exist, Christ is a black man, the angels are black or dark-skinned beings, and the Israelites are black. You understand? That's surprising, isn't it? I bet you never heard that a day in your life. It's surprising and previously unknown. Right? You didn't know that the Israelites were the niggas that you have enslaved. You didn't know that. You didn't know it was the Hispanics that you call aliens. Ironic, right? Ironic that we're sitting here talking about so-called aliens today. And the Mexicans are not aliens. The angels are not aliens. The only alien that exists in this world, only illegal alien, is the conquistador, the colonizer. You understand? From the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. You are the alien. Oh, that was a surprise too, huh? That was a surprising and previously unknown fact. Especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. The ISUPK we make these unknown facts known in a dramatic way. This is why you see us on the street corners yelling at the top of our voice, not because we just mad and bitter. You understand? Because the Bible says, "Cry aloud and spare not." We out there on the street corners because the streets are loud. You got cars riding by. Every time I'm at camp, at least 2 fire trucks or ambulances pull up. You understand? Blaring that siren. You got people honking. You got 100 plus people, talking on the streets. It's loud out there. And so we gotta yell. We gotta project our voice. You understand? What the Bible says to cry loud and spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. And let the people know that they are wrong. Let them know their transgressions. Let them know that they are sinning and they don't even know it. It's a surprising and previously unknown fact that they are sinning right now, every day. And God don't like sinning. All right, so let's get back to Revelation. It says, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Understand? So this is the revelation of John, right? John is going to show you exactly what he saw one night in the first chapter of Revelation. We'll drop down to verse 14, better yet 13. It says, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle, right? So in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, it's talking about the candlesticks is representing the 7 churches, right? The 7 establishments that Christ set up, in the truth, under his leadership, under his rulership. You understand? These 7 churches, right? So that's what the candlesticks in this verse represent. One like unto the Son of Man. We know that the Son of Man Christ is always referred to as the Son of Man, and also the Son of God. Clothed with a garment down to the foot, meaning he had on a garment, or what you would call today an outfit, or maybe a robe. You might look at it like a robe, right? He had on a robe or a garment that went all the way down to his foot, right? And girt about the paps with a golden girdle. So he had like a golden belt around his midsection. You understand? And in those times, you would wear a golden belt, or not necessarily golden, but you would wear some type of belt to protect your abdomen from, knives and swords, because that was the weapon of choice in those times. And people would try to, gut you. They would try to put a damn dagger in your belly. So in order to prevent that, a lot of soldiers, a lot of men of war wore belts made of metal. It might have been bronze, it might have been silver. This one's just so happened to be gold, right? So he wore this golden belt to, what I'm saying, because it's a piece of armor, right? So he was girt about the paps with the golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool. All right, white being the color, wool being the texture. Nobody else on the earth has woolly hair but black people. Like my hair is woolly. You understand? Black people's hair is woolly. You understand? This is what Christ's hair looks like. All right, not to be confused, not to make mention that every Israelite has woolly hair. Not every Israelite has the same hair texture as Christ. Hell, not every black man has the same hair texture. There's different types of textures. You know what I'm saying? You got that 4C, you got the 3C, whatever. All of those different textures. Black people have all those textures. You understand? Even some of us have straighter hair than most. You understand? Some of us have straighter hair. We don't have that curl or that kink. That doesn't make us less black than the next man. It's just this is just what Christ had. Christ had woolly hair. Now you tell me, does this Christ? Let me show you. Patient again. Tell me, does this image right here look kinky to you? Does it look like woolly hair? Do it look white? Those hairs look white to you? They look woolly. Facebook, tell me. YouTube, TikTok, tell me. Does his hair look woolly to you? I don't think so. And that's strike one. All right. His head and his hairs were white like wool. All right. As white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Meaning his eyes didn't look green like they paint this devil's eyes. This devil has green eyes, sometimes blue eyes. All right. That's strike two. Christ wasn't described to have blue eyes or green eyes. He was described to have fiery eyes. His eyes were the flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass. Now, what color is brass? Let me see. I don't keep pennies. She said, "Let's move." Joints on there. All right. Let me see. Maybe I can use this. All right. I don't have a penny right now, right? But for lack of having a penny, you would just take a penny and look at it. If you look up the makeup of a penny, it's made up of majority brass and copper. All right. The color of a penny is brown. And Christ was described to look like brass. All right, let's read on. His head and his hair was white like wool, as white as snow. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. Now, if you burn a penny, if I threw a penny in the fire and I pulled it out, it's going to be black. If you burn anything, it turns black. All right. So Christ was so dark. Not only was he brown, he was a dark, burnt brown, like a burnt penny. You understand? But that's not what this is. This don't look like no burnt penny. This description don't look like no burnt penny to me. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. That looks like a white man. Pale, pink. Where is this description in the Bible? I have yet to see it, but I do see a description of a dark-skinned man who looks so black he like he was burned in a furnace. And it's talking about his feet in this verse. But if your feet are one color, what would the rest of your body be? What would that make the rest of your body? If your feet are brown, I don't know anybody who don't have some type of disease or illness that allows their feet to be a different color than the rest of their body. And if Christ was healing people with damn illnesses and diseases, then why the hell would he have an illness or disease? You understand? So somebody explain that to me. Did you ask your Christian pastor that? Did you ever read Revelation and go to your pastor and ask, why does Revelation say that Christ looked like he was a penny burnt in a furnace? Did you ever ask that? I guarantee you didn't. And if you did, I guarantee you didn't get an answer. I guarantee you they told you it doesn't matter what Christ looked like. If it's in the Bible, why doesn't it matter? That's when I would stop listening to my Christian pastor. If he ever told me that something I read in the Bible doesn't matter, then I'm going to stop listening to him. Why would I ever follow a man who tells me he believes in the Bible, but then when I ask him a question pertaining to the Bible, he tells me it doesn't matter? I'm leaving the church. That's just wise. I'm leaving anybody who tells me that, oh yeah, you know, I read this in this book that you subscribe to, and it tells me something opposite than what you told me. And they say, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm leaving. I'm out. Because why am I going to sit here and listen to you teach a book that you subscribe to, but then with the same in the same book, there's something in there that you say doesn't matter. So either the book is invalid and I should not be paying attention, I should not believe in this book, or I shouldn't believe in you. One of the two. I either shouldn't believe in the book, I shouldn't believe in this book, or I shouldn't believe in my Christian pastor who taught me lies about this book and told me that what I read in the book doesn't matter. That's the day I would lead a Christian church. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go to Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Anybody got any questions, make sure you put them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. You understand? Also, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Hit the like button and subscribe, and get us in the algorithm. You understand? Get this truth out to other people who may be concerned, other people who actually have questions about the Bible, who don't know this, who don't know these things, who don't know that Christ was a black man, who don't know that the UFOs are our salvation, which is what I'll get into in a minute. You understand? Those UFOs are what's going to free us out of slavery, black man. Like, you thought that your oppressor was going to free you out of slavery. You thought that Abraham Lincoln freed you out of slavery. Listen, you ain't been free from slavery since Abraham Lincoln, since 1611 and before, 1619 and before that, in 1492. You understand? 1492, you Mexicans, you Puerto Ricans, you understand? You Native Indians, you were all enslaved under Rome in Europe. You were enslaved by them, and you were put on boats. I don't know if they taught you this in those damn what they call them, those the boarding schools. They probably didn't teach you that in the boarding schools, but you went on boats too. You were sold as slaves. You had your language stripped from you. You had your culture stripped from you. You understand? You were told that you were this. You were told that you were that. You were told that you were a savage. The fact that we call you a Native Indian, and I apologize for using that term, but I believe that's, you know, what a lot of people in the world resonate with, Native Indian or Native American. You understand? I do my best to use the term First Nation people. You understand? But really, I'd rather call you Gadites. I'd rather call you Reubenites, because that's your biblical name. That's who you are according to the Bible, by tribe. All right. So I try to identify you as those things. However, I find myself using the terms Native Indian or Native American more often because it's what people can associate with. And I apologize for doing that. I pray that you understand this for teaching purposes. You understand? But even with those titles, even with First Nation people, that is not your real identification. It's like somebody did the biggest identity fraud on you, and now you don't know who you are. You don't know that you're the Gadites. You don't know that you're an Israelite, according to the Bible. You don't know that you're God's chosen people, the most peaceable people on earth. Which is why Christopher Columbus came over to this side of the earth and said that, you know what, these people would make good slaves. This is what Christopher Columbus himself said. They would make good slaves because they're so peaceable. You understand? He took your kindness for weakness, and he enslaved you. He put you on a boat and took you back to Europe, took you to Canada and all over the damn world, and made you a slave. You understand? And you are going through the same curses that black people go through. You're going through the same curses that Mexicans go through. You're going through the same curses Puerto Ricans go through, and Dominicans, and Haitians, Jamaicans, who else? Guatemalans. Colombians, Venezuelans. You are going through the same curses that all of your black and brown brothers and sisters are going through. So that makes us one. Not only do the curses make us one, but our blood makes us one. Even though you hate your black and brown brothers and sisters. You understand? And it's not your fault. I'm going to tell you whose fault it is. It's the Christian church's fault. For not showing this to us sooner. For telling us that our questions don't matter. For telling us that not to question what they teach. You understand? When if I want to understand something, I'm going to ask questions. Because I don't understand it. And any logical person would understand that a person is going to ask questions when they don't understand something. All right. So again, we're going to get Zechariah, the book of Zechariah, chapter 5. And we're going to start at verse 1. And to think all the damn church y'all going to, y'all don't know nothing about this Bible. Nothing at all. That should show you something. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. All right, now first of all, let me break that down. Flying roll, imagine a roll of bread, right? It could be the cigar shape, you know what I'm saying? Well, I don't want to say it like that to give it away, but it could be the long roll of bread, like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of cylindrical, or it can even be the spherical roll of bread. You understand? They have both types. They got the cylindrical and they got the spherical rolls of bread. Talking about now. This is Zechariah explaining or describing something he's seeing with what he knows. Right? You can only explain something that you don't understand with things that you do understand. So Zechariah knows what a loaf of bread looks like. He knows what a roll of bread looks like. He knows how they look. So he's using something that he knows what it looks like to describe what he's seeing in the sky. It's not like he's actually seeing a roll of bread in the sky. Don't think like he sees a elongated cylindrical loaf of bread in the sky. It's not how you can see it. But this is how he could explain it to others and how it makes sense to him. Because if he said that he saw a goddamn sparkling UFO in the sky, you wouldn't understand it in ancient biblical times. You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't know what the hell Zechariah is talking about. But because you know what a loaf of bread looks like, you know what a roll looks like. That's why he's using this type of description. Because you can relate to it. You know what it means. Right? So he said, he lifted up his eyes, meaning he looked up into the sky, and he saw a flying roll, like a piece of bread that was flying. All right. And I think like plenty of y'all probably seen this before, and I might not be able to show it to you on TikTok, but I'm gonna pull it up on Facebook and Instagram. You understand? So if you're watching on TikTok, you might want to go join us on Facebook and TikTok. I mean Facebook and YouTube. We are live on UPK Tazadaki on Facebook, ISUPK Jackson, Mississippi on Facebook. What else? ISUPK Mississippi on Facebook. as well as ISUPK Mississippi on YouTube. So if you're out there watching and you want to watch us on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to pull up some visuals so that you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. Bear with me 1 second. It's loading a little bit. All right. Lord willing, Facebook and YouTube can see this. TikTok's lock it. You can't see it, but if you Google cigar-shaped UFO, you'll see what I'm talking about. I have it up on the screen on Facebook and YouTube. You understand? This is what Ezekiel was seeing. This is somewhat how he saw what he was seeing. You understand? Now, of course, this don't look like bread. But in Ezekiel, sorry, not Ezekiel, but in Zechariah's mind, the only thing that he can compare this to at that time was a roll of bread. All right, which makes sense. Shoot, bread was a very common thing in that culture, in Israelite culture back in biblical times. Bread was very famous and popular. You understand? So he saw something that everybody knew what it looked like, right? Like everybody knew what bread looked like. They knew what a roll of bread looked like. So when they read this, they understood, oh, damn, okay, so imagine seeing a roll of bread in the sky. Damn, that's crazy. I ain't never seen that before in my life. Of course, nowadays, because of technology, you can just take a picture of it. You understand? So now we don't have to go and explain that we saw something that looked like a roll of bread in the sky. We just take a picture of it. Yeah, this is what I saw. And it's right here on YouTube and Facebook. All right. So this is what Zechariah saw in a vision. Keep in mind, this is a vision. All right. He saw this in the sky. Let's keep reading. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Now, a cubit is the length of an arm. The average size arm is 1 cubit. All right. So imagine this times what he said, 20. Yeah. Imagine this times 20. Imagine this one. The length of this times 20. All right. That's the width of it, or that's the that's the length of the flying saucer or the flying roll, so to speak. It's 20 cubits. Okay. And the breadth of it was 10 cubits. You understand? So imagine seeing that in the sky. One second, hold on 1 second. Okay. So imagine seeing something in the sky that's the length of 20 forearms. You understand? That's pretty big. You know what I'm saying? That's how big it looked to him in the sky from where he was standing. All right, reading on, it says, Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side, according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side, according to it. Meaning, this right here is going to destroy the world. It's going to this thing that Zechariah is seeing, this flying roll, is a curse to the earth. All right, and it's in the he that Zechariah is talking to is the Most High. You understand? Or one of his angels. But when you talk to the angel is a messenger of God, so you talk to the Most High. All right. And he's telling him, you seeing the curse that goes forth on the earth. The Lord sent this UFO to be a curse. Why am I calling it a UFO now? Because at this time it was an unidentified flying object, as explained by America, by Area 51, right? Everybody understands what a UFO is today because you've seen the footage. You've wondered about these things. And here it is in the Bible, something flying in the sky that has not been identified, an unidentified flying object, okay? And God calls it a curse, or this angel that Zechariah is talking to is calling it a curse, right? And if you steal, and if you swear, if you sin against the Most High, this is going to be your curse. This is going to be your punishment. You're going to be punished by this thing flying in the sky. Okay, so let's drop that. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 1. Better yet, let me read more. I'm going to read verse 4. It says, I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that swears falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof, and the stones thereof. Meaning, listen, if you've seen these flying objects, if you've seen these unidentified flying objects, you understand, it's not a good thing. It's not good at all. It means that destruction is happening. And a lot of times, I've seen videos where they show these glowing objects flying in the sky, whether they're cylindrical or spherical, floating in the sky, and they're either they're above a tornado, they're above the hurricanes a lot of times, and they're above volcanoes that are beginning to erupt. And I've seen videos of this. You understand? So which can only mean to me that that's the type of destruction that these things were meant to set off. These things were meant to bring forth in the earth. Volcanoes. You think that CERN is out there making volcanoes erupt? You think CERN is creating tornadoes and hurricanes? The Lord is creating hurricanes and tornadoes. You understand? Who's creating these hurricanes and these tornadoes and these volcano eruptions? All right. One second. And for clarity's sake, I'm gonna go to Isaiah 29 and 6. We'll go to 29 and 6. You wonder why these so-called UFOs are flying around every time that there's destruction happening. We're gonna see. I'm gonna show you why. And just for clarity's sake, we don't call these things UFOs. We call them chariots. All right, we've identified what these flying objects are, and they're the chariots of God. They're the chariots of the Lord. And if you don't believe me, listen, ask your questions. Open your Bible. Go to these scriptures that I'm going to. I'm going right now, I'm going to Isaiah 29. Verse 6. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Get us up in that algorithm so that this truth goes out to everybody. All right. The book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire, and the multitude of all the nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munitions, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. You understand? The Lord is sending these earthquakes, these hurricanes, you understand, these storms, this thunder, great noise. The Lord sent it. The Lord sent the hurricane to Texas and flooded Texas. You understand? That's who did it. Everybody who was told that God is all love has forgotten that God is the one that flooded the earth during Noah's time. It's God did that. You understand? And he did it in glory. He did it in righteousness. I'm not complaining. Had it not been for God wiping out the entire earth's existence and saving 8 people, I wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't know the truth about the Bible today. Matter of fact, I would probably be, doing some craziness. I'll probably be doing the most filthiest, disgusting, lewd acts known to man. And guess what? It probably wouldn't even be known today, because you got to understand the reason why God flooded the earth in the first place is because there was filthiness and lewd acts, lasciviousness going on in the earth. You understand? The sons of God were fornicating with heathens, with other nations. When the Lord made a law, he made a commandment that you are not to have sex with other nations. You are to only marry your kind. You understand? God is a separatist. All right. Consider God a what do they call it? What was that word? Margaret Sanger was also a eugenicist, or whatever, however the word goes. Consider God a eugenicist. He believes in a pure race. Not that other races can exist, but he wants his people, his race, to be pure. And other nations can exist, but their existence is to serve his people, his race. God has a race. He has a favorite race. Okay? God is racist. And by definition, racist means to love your race. It means that you choose your race over every other race on the earth. Just like a scientist choosing science over every other subject matter. All right. A dentist believes in the study of dental work. All right. They like teeth. There's nothing wrong with a dentist liking teeth. There's nothing wrong with a scientist liking science. There's nothing wrong with a black man loving black people and Hispanic people and Native Indian people. That's one race. You understand? I'll go even further. There's nothing wrong with white people loving white people. Just leave me the hell out of it. I shouldn't have to love white people with you. Why would I love a race of people who have done nothing but harm and damage my people? Listen, I was watching Ghost of Mississippi last night. Watching Ghost of Mississippi. And one scene that really stood out to me the most out of everything I saw, like this stood out to me the most. It was a scene in Ghost of Mississippi where the FBI agents went to a black woman's house to question her about, you know, an unaliving that happened by the KKK. And on her wall, while she's giving her, not necessarily a confession, but while she's giving a description of what she saw take place or what she heard or whatever, you see the only picture hanging up on the entire wall, literally the only picture, this is one wall, and the only picture hanging up on this wall is an image of this guy. She had this hanging up on her wall. She had this man right here hanging up on her wall, even though this is the same image that enslaved her. This is the same image that burnt down her church. The same man that burnt down her church. Same man that kidnapped her children, kidnapped her neighbor's children, and terrorized them, beat them half to death, and dropped them off in the cornfield. You understand? Burnt crosses in her yard. This is the same man who did those things, yet she has a whole wall dedicated to that man. That shows you how destroyed we are as a nation. That shows you how destroyed we are as the people. That image is nowhere in the Bible, but yet we look at that image like it's our God. And when we look at our enemy like it's our God, then we don't know who to fight against. We think that person is benevolent. And there's no reason to fight against him. We can only pray that he gets better. We can only pray that he finds peace and forgiveness in his heart. And that's never going to happen because our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And that's what matters. You understand? But that stood out to me in that movie. So I'm going to get back to Zechariah. Let me see if we got some more. Not Zechariah. Where we at? Isaiah. Let's see. 29. All right, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake. All right, let's sit on that. Now we're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 16. All right, the book of Ezekiel chapter 1, starting at verse 16. Let me start at verse 15. This is the vision of the four wheels. Now, as I beheld, the living creatures behold. Hold up. I'm going to start at verse 5. Verse 4. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. All right, my bad. Where was I at? Verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. All right, so what Ezekiel is looking at is imagine a whirlwind, right? A whirlwind is like a tornado. It's like something spinning in the sky, like winds circling around like this. That's a whirlwind. All right. Now imagine a tornado or something spinning in the clouds. It says a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself. Now, not only does this thing look like something like a tornado, but now there's also a fire within this tornado. Okay, it looks like a fire is in this tornado, but it's not any regular fire. It's a fire that's enfolding within itself. So imagine a fire that's burning upward, but it's wrapping around itself and going back into itself. Wrapping around and going back into itself. Understand? That's what Ezekiel is explaining to him. Like, that's what he sees and what he's trying to convey to us. Now, don't think that this is an actual fire. Think of it more like a light. Now, at this time, of course, they didn't have light bulbs. They didn't have electricity in ancient biblical days. But they did have candles. They did have fire. That's how they saw. That's how they kept light. All right. So what Ezekiel is seeing might not have been an actual fire in the sky, but it looked like a fire that would unfold within itself. Now think about a UFO and how that looks. Think about a so-called UFO, a so-called flying saucer, and how it lights up, and it has orbiting lights that circulate the ship. You understand? Because if you think about it like that, then you'll see that this thing looks just like what we see in Hollywood. It looks like what they call a UFO. You understand? That's what Ezekiel is saying in the Bible. In the Bible, Ezekiel is saying a UFO. All right. Okay, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. So that's what Ezekiel is seeing. In the sky, a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber. Amber is like an orange color. You understand? Like some people would call it like a kind of like a brownish orange color. That's what he's seeing coming out of this craft that's flying in the sky, similar to what Zechariah saw. All right. He said, out of the midst of the fire. Verse 5, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. All right. They had the likeness of a man. So within these crafts, or what we would call in these chariots, Ezekiel saw 4 beings, and they had the likeness of a man, meaning they had the stature of a man. Right? A man has 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. And this is what Ezekiel was seeing. He saw a man's stature. Saw something standing inside these chariots, and they looked like men. They had the figure of a man. All right. It says, and everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of the calf's foot. So these aren't men. These aren't human beings in these crafts, in these chariots, because they got wings and they got 4 faces. All right. So we know that this ain't no regular human being. We know this ain't no regular regular man. There's something different that Ezekiel is seeing. Ezekiel knows this ain't no average man. He got the soul of calf's foot. The soul of calf's foot. What you could think about when it says the soles of calf's foot, think of like those ninja shoes, right? If you look back in ancient Asia, they had shoes that would split like this. You understand? Like a cow's foot would. You have one side for like the big toe, I believe. And then another side, this side would be for like the 4 other toes. And so it was maybe more like this. So it looked a little bit like that, right? So imagine that being on a man. Okay? Like warriors. Where we at? Verse 7, their feet were straight feet, and the soles of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. And they sparkled like the color of brass. There's that brass again. These angels sparkled like the color of burnished brass. Like burnt brass, like dark brass. What is brass? Brown. Copper, brass. They're both brown. Pennies are brown. You understand? And these angels sparkled like burnished brass. You ever seen a black man put on Vaseline on his face? Better yet, just a natural black man's face, which is naturally oily. A lot of black people, we have oily skin. And if you look close, if you look at us in the sun, it's almost like we sparkle. It's almost like we glow. You understand? I'm not making this up. If you black, you know. If you've ever seen a black man, you know. When you look at us, it's like something is like we sparkle. Damn near. You understand? Especially if our face is really oily. When I was a kid, my grandmother used to make me put Vaseline on my face. You understand? You don't want to look raggedy in church, which is where I grew up, living with my grandmother. And you go to church, your grandma don't want you looking ashy and run down. She's gonna put some Vaseline all over your face, all over your hands. You understand? So you're not ashy. You know what I mean? And black people, sometimes we need that Vaseline, we need some lotion because we get ashy. That's the fact. Grandma didn't want you coming to church looking ashy. So she would rub that Vaseline on your face. And what happens? Your face is shining. You understand? Sparkling. All right. Let's get the next verse. We're going to drop that and we're going to go back to the book of Isaiah, chapter 66. If you got any questions, put them in the chat. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Get us in that algorithm so this truth gets out. All right, the book of Isaiah, chapter 66. All right. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. This is the Lord doing this, man. The Lord is angry. Right now, we are in a time where we have pissed the Most High off. We following after a God that our oppressor gave us. You understand? We doing everything that our oppressor tells us that we should be doing, celebrating Christmas, when that's not, celebrating Christmas is not in the Bible. Celebrating our birthdays, and well, really, the Bible speaks against you celebrating Christmas, for one. You can read about that in Jeremiah 10. We're not supposed to be celebrating our birthday because birthdays are a satanic holiday. All right. Look up the Satanic Bible by Anton Levine. Anton Levine is a Satan worshiper, a Satanist. And he believes that the celebration of one's own birth is the greatest worship known to man. If you're going to worship a God, why not worship yourself? Because he believes that you are a God. You are God. All right. Anton Levine believes that you are God. So if you're going to worship God, you should worship yourself. And that's why the birthday is the highest holiday on the satanic calendar. You are a Satanist if you worship your birthday, if you celebrate your birthday. That's the fact. If you celebrate your birthday, you are a Satanist. You are a Satan worshiper. You're no different than Anton Levine, who is a Satanist and who wrote the Satanic Bible. You believe in the Satanic Bible because you believe in your birthday. And believing in your birthday, celebrating your birthday is satanic. Show me somebody celebrating their birthday in the Bible and it was righteous. Because I'm not saying that people in the Bible didn't do satanic things. It's all throughout the Bible. Israel sinned over and over and over again. It don't end to how much sin they committed, which is why they needed Christ to come and redeem them from their sin in the first place. So you're not going to convince me by saying that Israel committed sin. We know that. That's a known fact. But were they punished for? Or were they honored for sinning? If you find me an Israelite in the Bible who celebrated his birthday, you got to show me that he wasn't punished for it, or he was honored for it, or she was honored for it. Because the first thing that we did in the Bible, in Genesis, in the Garden of Eden, was sin. That's the first thing we did. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't mean that when we did it, it was okay. Understand? We made a mistake. And we've been learning from that mistake since. Now it's time to finally get it right. And if we don't get it right, guess what? The Lord is sending his storm. He's sending his chariots. I'm going to read it one more time. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind. That's what we just read in Ezekiel. The whirlwind in the sky, like a tornado. The Lord sent that. This is the Most High telling us that he's sending those chariots. He's sending those UFOs. You understand? Why is he sending it? Let's read on. It says, and like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury. Meaning he's angry right now. He's going to send these chariots to let me give you the definition of render so I can use that word. Let me give you render real quick. Render in the Oxford Language Dictionary. All right. To provide or give. All right. Render means to provide or give. So that's what I'm going to use as a translation. Right. So he's going to provide his anger with fury using these chariots, using these whirlwinds, hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanoes, earthquakes. That's the fury of the Lord. The Lord is angry, man. Like we think that the Lord is sitting in heaven, happy all the damn time, loving everything we do and everything we say all the damn time, when that's not true. The Lord is not happy with what we're doing. The Lord is not happy with America. The Lord is not happy with integration. The Lord is not happy with interracial marriage. He's not happy with same-sex marriage. These things do not make him happy. He's angry. How do we know? Because we're dealing with a hurricane right now. We're dealing with a hurricane in Texas right now. We're dealing with tornadoes right now, severe heat right now. These are all signs to let you know that the Lord is angry. These ain't happy times. You're dealing with the Lord's anger. This is why you got to pay an arm and a leg for gas, an arm and a leg for rent, an arm and a leg for your car payment. You're running out of arms and legs. The Lord is going to want your head next. To hell with your arm and leg. He's going to want your head unless you get it right, unless you correct yourself and keep his commandments. That's the only thing stopping you from the grace of God is keeping his commandments, man. Until then, you're going to be facing his fury. You're going to go through them hurricanes and earthquakes, tornadoes, heat waves, ice waves, you know what I'm saying? Extreme colds. You're going to go through these things because the Lord is angry. Why would he give you peace if he ain't at peace? How the hell are you going to get some peace? How the hell are you going to get tranquility when the Lord is damn angry? But leave it to your Christian pastor, he just keeps telling you, don't worry about it. God loves you. God is all love. And then you'll never make God happy, ever. He will always be angry at you because you're not even trying to make him happy. You're not even trying to do what he said. So we got to send these chariots after you. Yeah, send these UFOs up in the sky, bring forth the hurricane, bring forth an earthquake, and eventually it's going to bring forth World War III. And you're going to get caught up in it because you don't know how to serve the Lord. You understand? It's not Satan doing these things. It's the Lord. And guess what? Satan is just following orders from the Lord. Satan obeys God better than you. Satan obeys God better than you. It's not a misquote. I mean it. You are a worse follower of God than Satan is. Satan follows God's orders. That's a joke. It's all throughout the Bible. Satan works hard to obey God. You could care less. If God told you to stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, you'll chuck it up to God knows my heart and do it anyway. Because you're evil and wicked and you're worse than Satan. You're worse than Satan. You could care less about what God says. Just like Boosie Badass. Boosie Badass said in a video, I wouldn't care if God could tell me right now, son, don't eat the pork. It's not good. I do not like it. And God would, and Boosie said that he would say, F you, God. Because he wants pork that bad. He wants some pork sausages that bad that he's going to say, F God. You think that that's honorable? Think that's something God will be happy about? You hate God. But you try to convince the world that you love God, and that's a goddamn lie. You hate God, man. We're going to go back to Ezekiel chapter 1, and we're going to drop down to 16. All right, Ezekiel 1, chapter 1, verse 16 says, the appearance of the wheels in their works was like unto the color of beryl. So like the appearance of the wheels in their works was like unto the color of a beryl. Now, beryl is green. And for YouTube, I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Unfortunately, if you're on TikTok, you won't be able to see it. Trying to find a good image. Maybe this will work. All right, so if you see on the screen right now, all right, if you look up on the screen, you should see an image of a stone. Stone is green. This is beryl. If I read the description, it says natural green beryl. Natural green beryl trapeche or something. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's TRAPICHE. If you are a language scholar, you understand, you can probably give me the correct pronunciation of that. But it says natural green beryl, rough, loose green beryl. All right. So the color of it is green, which is why a lot of times when the color green is associated with UFOs, with spaceships. That color green. Sometimes it's an emitting green light. You know what I'm saying? It's an emitting green light from the spaceship, so to speak, in Hollywood, in your cartoons, in your movies, in your TV shows. All right, they always have some green light associated with the UFOs, and that's what's explained in the book of Ezekiel. Read again. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 15. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his four faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. And they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. This is a very popular scripture right here. A lot of people have tried to emulate this description of what Ezekiel was seeing. And they show you rings spinning inside of rings with eyes all around them. You might have seen that on like social media or something. And although that image is more accurate than the naked white babies that you see, this is just a like that ring, those rings that you see with the eyes around it. That's an attempt at an illustration trying to describe something that has never been seen before. So it's like you're basing that image off of a description of something that doesn't even make sense to the person viewing it. And they're trying to imagine what it looks like. And it's not an inaccurate description. You know what I'm saying? It's just you're just basically painting what you are reading on this paper, but you gotta understand Ezekiel seeing this in real, like he's familiar with, and other people who are reading this would be familiar with, but it's something that no one's ever seen before. So you got to keep that in mind, that no one's ever seen what Ezekiel is seeing at this time. So he doesn't know how to explain it. The only way he can explain it is by explaining it with something that he's already seen. So a wheel within a wheel, I understand a wheel within a wheel because I've seen a wheel before. Now I'm just imagining a wheel inside of another wheel. Okay, I get it. You understand? But I'm gonna show you. First of all, I'm gonna give you what people have, what people have painted as a visual illustration of what Ezekiel saw. I guess this one will work. And I'm gonna read more as well, so you don't have to, lose hope in that. Definitely keep reading. Yeah, I guess that's pretty good. If y'all can see that, you understand? That's not really a good image. It's not really the best image. For time's sake, that's the best I can find right now. I seen another image that someone drew. Which is pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. It looked cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, which lets me know that, some of the truth is getting out there. But I will tell you this. I just gave you the description of what angels look like earlier in this book, in the same chapter. It describes what angels look like. They don't look like naked white babies. All right. The chariots of God are not white babies. They're not whatever you think they are. That's not them. But Ezekiel is explaining to you, he's revealing to you, he's giving you a revelation of what the angels and their chariots look like. All right, and this is pretty much the best illustration I could find. You see these different rings inside of like rings within rings. They got eyes on them. Of course, they didn't you gotta take the spookiness off of what Ezekiel was seeing. All right, Ezekiel was not seeing rings with actual eyeballs around. Okay, he's describing lights or windows on these rings. All right. I really wish I could show y'all on TikTok, but if you really want to see, you can definitely go to our Facebook and our YouTube, ISUPK Mississippi on YouTube, ISUPK Mississippi on Facebook, ISUPK Jackson, Mississippi on Facebook as well, and UPK Tazadaki on Facebook as well. If you want to see the visuals that I'm presenting. Now, yeah, this isn't a accurate description. Like this isn't an accurate illustration of what Ezekiel saw, but it's the closest that anyone has gotten as far as illustrating. Because, well, I wouldn't say the closest anyone has gotten. Hollywood got closer to it. They have a closer visualization of what Ezekiel was talking about. This is kind of fantasy, what you're looking at on the screen. So I'm gonna show you more so what Ezekiel was seeing. Because don't think of it like there were eyeballs outside or on the outside of this room. Think of it like this. I'm about to put it up on the screen. What happened? All right, think of it like this. Now, as you can see, there's lights going all the way around this image of a so-called UFO. Now, around this UFO, now on the outer ring of this UFO, you see lights or maybe windows that emit light from the inside. Okay? Think of it more like this. Not actual eyeballs, but if you don't know what you're seeing, you've never seen light before in your life. You've only seen candles and fire. if you only seen eyeballs, then you're gonna look at it like, okay, yeah, I've seen an eyeball before. It looked like it got eye. Now I didn't get to that part yet, so I'm gonna keep reading so that you can get that part. But this is more like what Ezekiel was seeing. You see the outer ring with the lights on it, and then you see the inner ring with the light emitting downward. Right? You understand? Now that too is described in the Bible. That light that's going down is somewhat accurate. But the point right now is this ring that's inside this outer ring. You got one ring on the outside, another ring on the inside. This is the outer ring, and this is the inner ring. Okay, let's keep reading. It says, and they four had one likeness. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Verse 17. When they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went. So I don't know if y'all have ever seen video footage of these so-called UFOs, or what they call them now is IFOs, or not IFOs. What are they calling them? AEPs or UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. UAP, right? Today they're calling them UAPs, and if you've seen videos of these UAPs, you see that they just go wherever they want to go. They want to go forward, they go forward, but then they can just switch directions in a blink of an eye. They can go this way for a minute and then just go that way. They don't have to turn like how a car does. Like a car has to, come to a stop and then make its turn. You know what I'm saying? So it looks more like this. You know what I'm saying? This thing just goes up and then goes that way. Or if it wants to go back, it just shoots backwards. I mean, they don't have to turn like how a car would, or like how a horse and cart would. A horse and cart would have to turn around the corner. Now, of course, remember, keep in mind, this is biblical times, and they drive horse and cart or horse and carriage. They don't have cars. They don't have jets. They don't have any of these things that can just turn however they want to at the speed of light. But these things, they can go whichever direction they want to, and they don't have to turn. So again, Ezekiel doesn't understand what he's seeing, and he's trying his best to describe it with using things that he has seen. All right. When they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went. Verse 18. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them four. So you know that, like I was just explaining, he's talking about how they had eyes around them. That's not the eyes that you saw in the previous picture, but it's more like the eyes that you see in this picture on the screen right here, where it's light emitting from these circles, or these, there's light emitting from it. These are the eyes that he's talking about. They're either windows or they're lights. Look at it more like that. And from my understanding, these were windows with light coming from out of them. There's light inside of the craft that's emanating out. Okay? So those are the eyes that Ezekiel was seeing. It says, verse 19, and where the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. The living creatures, of course, again, is the angels that it's talking about. Wherever the angels are going, these crafts are going too. These UFOs, these UAPs are connected to these angels. They are one and the same. So if you see them, that's an angel you're looking at. All right? It's not an alien, it's an angel. It's God, one of God's creatures. Okay? Not a creature from another galaxy, not a creature from somewhere in the universe. This is God's this is God's creature. This is an angel from the fourth dimension. traveling to the third dimension. And this is how we see them. You might see a light or an orb in the sky. All right. You might see a cylindrical light in the sky. This is how we see them. But Ezekiel is giving you a broader picture of what he's seeing. All right. Let's keep going. What time we at? All right, I got a few more minutes. The wheels went by them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Verse 20. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go. Right? Thither is an old Quaker English word for there. And whither is old Quaker English for where. All right, you have thither and whither, which means there and where. Okay. It says and the wheels, and the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Verse 21. Then those went, excuse me. All right, Salaki is Hebrew for forgive me or excuse me. So you might hear me say Salaki a few times. I'm only saying forgive me. All right, verse 21. When those went, these went. And when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. All right, verse 22. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads above. So to give you an image of this, think about, again, Hollywood and how they depict alien spacecrafts, right? The spacecraft has that same UFO shape, that's flying saucer shape, like a circle, like a disc. But on top of that disc is a dome that looks like it's made out of glass or crystal, quote unquote. Okay? That is the same description that's written in the Bible. It just said it in verse 22 of the first chapter of Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 22. They had a terrible crystal over their head. A firmament was made. The firmament was made out of crystal. What is a firmament? Firmament is a dome. The firmament is a dome. So I'm going to put that up on the screen so that you can see that it's the exact same thing. This is what we see all the time in Hollywood and other, places. Okay, so here we have another image of a so-called UFO according to Hollywood, according to America, according to, just cultural knowledge. This is what we know. The UFO is, you can see it sitting right here. It looks like a disc with a glass dome on top. So I'm going to read Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 22 again. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal. What color is crystal? Crystal is clear. We all know that. We know that crystal is a clear clear color, kind of like diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Or just think crystals. Crystals, are clear. They have like a bluish hue to them, but for the most part, they're clear in color. Okay, they're see-through, which is what Ezekiel is seeing, and that's what he's using to describe what he's seeing. Okay, he's seeing something that he can't explain, so he's using things that he can explain to explain what he's seeing. If that makes sense, let me know in the chat if that makes sense to y'all, because I'm not really sure if I'm making sense. While you at it, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe. I need more likes. Okay. Big up to Captain Kahantham Yard. Big up to Officer Parak Bar. Big up to Ra'ash Karab. Big up to Marab on West. Okay. Big up to the sisters in the chat. Shamara, Makashabaya. Big up to Trooper Gabar Ya'ala. All right. All right. So this is what we're seeing in these skies, man. That's what we're seeing from Ezekiel. And this is where Hollywood gets its description of a UFO from Ezekiel. All right. So if you've ever seen an actual UFO, and I'll tell you a story about me. This is a personal story right here, right? Finish that real quick so I can tell you a little story. Listen, I was in the world, and my first time seeing a UFO, so-called UFO, and a chariot, the chariots of God. A friend of mine called me out of his house. You know what I'm saying? Because I was at his crib and I'm just chilling, right? This is black talk, in case nobody knows what I mean when I say crib and chilling. A crib is where you live, and chilling is what you do when you're not doing anything, for lack of better words. She said we can't. Oh, that's okay. So chilling is what you do when you're not doing anything, right? But I was chilling in his crib, and he called me outside. He was like, "Bro, it's UFOs outside." I'm like, "What, man? What are you talking about?" I come outside, I look up in the sky, and I see two lights in the sky. I see two bright lights and like little specks, like little orbs in the sky. And at the moment, they're just floating across the sky, right? And then in the blink of an eye, they just shoot straight up. And I kid you not, I saw this with my own eyes. You understand? I wasn't high. I wasn't on any hallucinogenics. I was stone cold sober, and I knew what I saw. And it blew my mind. And I had not read this Bible by that time. I didn't know nothing about no damn chariots of God and nothing like that. But I saw two orbs floating in the sky, and they shot up. Now, I didn't see a disc. I didn't see like a fine roll. I didn't see no burrow. I didn't see green. I didn't see a fire unfolding in itself. I didn't see a whirlwind, and I didn't see no crystal. But I did see a light floating in the sky that shot straight up when I was looking at it. You understand? And I had never seen that before in my life. It was my first time witnessing that, and it was amazing to me. Never seen it before, and it's still to this day, it blows my mind. I've seen it, and it blows my mind even more now that I've read this Bible, and now I know what I saw. Right? So I'm gonna keep reading. I think this is the same verse of scripture chapter where it tells you how to move. So let me keep going. Verse 23. And under the firmament were their wings straight, and the one toward the other, every one had two covered on this side, which covered on this side, and every one had two which covered on that side of their bodies. So you got wings that is one wing here. I mean, two wings like this. If you're on TikTok, so you see two wings is going out like this, and then two wings going out like that. It's two on each side. Okay. That's just these beings that Ezekiel is seeing. You know what I'm saying? According to the scriptures, these angels can take on many shapes, right? So in Job, and the angels came to Job as men, like they look like regular men. So angels can take on many different shapes. In this instant, what Ezekiel was seeing, they look like they had four faces. They had four wings, you understand? They had dark skin. So that was just in Ezekiel's case. Verse 23 again. Verse 24. And when they went, I heard the noise of their wings, like the noise of great waters, as the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech, as the noise of an host. When they stood, they let down their wings. And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood, and they had let down their wings. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. Sapphire is blue. The sapphire stone is blue. Right? It says, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness of the appearance of a man above upon it. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of the fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins. Real quick, let me go to Revelation chapter 1 again. Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. And we're gonna keep we're gonna keep Ezekiel open, but we're gonna flip over to Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierce him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. Now, this is talking about Christ, and he's riding on clouds. And as we know, a lot of times in the Bible, these chariots are associated with clouds. They're associated with tempests and storms and whirlwinds. And then they're also associated with clouds. Why? Because they hide in clouds. It's kind of like that movie Independence Day. You don't see the UFOs until they want you to see them. They could be hiding inside of a cloud. And that's what Hollywood also knows, which is why they do video like what was the latest movie? Nope. It's a movie called Nope, produced by or directed by what's that dude name? Jordan Peele. All right, Jordan Peele has a movie out called Nope, and in that movie, the UFO in that movie hides within the clouds so that you can't see him. You understand? And that's exactly what the Bible describes him for doing. So again, Hollywood is taking these ideas from the Bible and they're putting it on the big screen and they're making a profit on it. And they're letting you believe that the UFOs are from outer space. They're letting you believe that the UFOs are from another galaxy or from another universe. And when that's not the case, these UFOs are the chariots of God. And they got it out of the Bible, and they're not telling you that. The Christian church is not telling you that. All right? So they're placating and making money off of your fear and off of your ignorance. Right? When they could just tell you, oh yeah, those UFOs are actually the chariots of God. Those are actually angels in the Bible. And Christ in Revelation is shown to be riding on that cloud. And that's what we're seeing in Ezekiel. So we're going to go back to Ezekiel chapter 1. And where it says it looks like a throne on top of the firmament. You know what I'm saying? This is what you'll see when Christ returns. Christ is going to be riding on the cloud because the UFOs are in the clouds. The chariots of God are in the clouds. And his throne is sitting on top of those chariots. He's going to come back riding on top of that chariot. Okay? And above the firmament that was over their head was the likeness of a throne as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness of the appearance of a man above upon it. And I saw as the color of amber as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about, as the appearance of the bow that was in the cloud in the day of rain. So let's drop that and let's go to Ezekiel. Is that it on that? Hold up, let me see. One more. Okay, let's go back up. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. I'm gonna start at 13 and read down to 14. It says, as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire. So again, this is doubling down on the fact that these angels are black. Okay, these angels are black. This is why it's comparing them to coal. Angels are black, not white. They don't look like naked white babies. All right. These angels look like coals of fire. And like the appearance of light, and like the appearance of lamps, it went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. So also that orb, like I told you, those two orbs that I saw personally floating across the sky look like two lights in the sky, which resonates with Ezekiel because he's saying that he saw lights, he saw fire. He saw a light in the sky, which is the only thing he could compare it to at that time because the light bulb did not exist. You understand? Those type of images didn't exist to Ezekiel. So he had to think of what does he see? Like he saw fire. If Ezekiel existed today, he would probably say something like, I saw it, they look like LED lights in the sky. Right? It looked like floodlights in the sky. So this is how he would explain it. But because LED lights and floodlights didn't exist in biblical times, he had to use what did exist. Fire existed, candles existed. So he's describing what he saw with candles and fire, and that's what people can understand. That's what he understood. All right. Moving on. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. And out of the fire went forth lightning, right? So now that brings me back to the point I made earlier about the light that goes downward into the ground, you know what I'm saying, from that inner ring. Think of it more like a laser, right? So you know that a lot of times, like you watch Futurama, some of y'all have watched the show Futurama. In that show Futurama, those alien ships shoot laser beams out. If you look at the thumbnail for this class, you'll see that there's laser beams shooting out from this so-called UFO, the chariot of God. That's right here in verse 13. That's in Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 13. This is where Hollywood gets its idea of a UFO from. That lightning that it's talking about is that so-called that light that beams down and abducts people, according to Hollywood, according to Esau, according to the devil. The devil just means deceiver, liar, and the biggest deceiver on the earth is a man known as your oppressor, the slave master, the conquistador, or the colonizer, the caveman of the earth. Okay, that's where he gets that light from, and that's where he gets that laser beam from. If we go to the book of Daniel, chapter 10, it describes the throne of the Most High the same kind of way. His throne is like fire, right? It's like a wheel. The Most High also has a UFO that he rides on, and it shoots out fire. It shoots out streams of fire, according to Daniel. This is all throughout the Bible. This ain't just one instance or another. This is all throughout the Bible. You understand? I'm going to keep reading. It says, verse 14, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. So just like how I saw those lights just cruising across the skyline, like it's two lights just cruising across the skyline, and then instantly just shoot up, just like lightning. That's in Ezekiel. What I saw was damn near exactly what Ezekiel saw, except Ezekiel could describe it better than I could. Ezekiel had more vision than I did. You understand? Ezekiel had a better vision than I could ever have, because the Lord was speaking to Ezekiel. You understand? The Lord was giving Ezekiel a vivid vision to see what he saw. Okay? So, but then all in all, Ezekiel was seeing exactly what I saw that day, and when I saw those two orbs flying across the sky and just shoot up straight into the sky, it was like lightning. It was like a bolt of lightning, as if, you know, if you ever seen lightning, you ever watched a thunderstorm, you see lightning, it strikes, but it's really fast. But you kind of catch the glimpse of that lightning, and it just stains itself into your mind, into your eyes. It's like you just see the lightning bolt for a split second, but it's stained into your sight. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I saw watching those two chariots fly across the sky, and it stained my eyes. Like, damn, what the hell? That shit was quick. You know what I'm saying? It was like lightning. Okay. Let me get real quick. I'm gonna go to Daniel real quick, just to show you that I'm not a liar. And I'll prove to you that the Most High's throne is set up the same exact way, and then we'll end the class because we're a little bit over the time. Daniel. Oh no, not 10. Hold on. Was it 9? Seven and 9. Okay, yeah. Book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. All right, boom. Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld until the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. Right now, who is the Ancient of Days? The Ancient of Days is the Most High. What does Ancient of Days means? Means the Most High is older than time itself. He's older than days. There's nothing more consistent and longer than days. All right. Days have been going on for thousands of years, more than 2,000. We've only been here for 2,000, or we can only, I don't want to say we've only been here, but like it's 2024 right now, right? This is 2024. What do they call it? AD, right? They call it 2024 AD. Well, you do realize that before AD started, there was BC, or what they call BCE, which goes back thousands of years as well. So for thousands of years, I can't even explain how many years exactly, but for thousands and thousands of years, the earth has been here, right? Earth has been here for thousands of years, and the Lord was here before all that. That's what it means by Ancient of Days. He was here before time even started. Okay, so it's talking about God. Who else would it be talking about besides the Most High? Okay, so Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, meaning he had his throne. He was sitting on his throne. All right. And Daniel saw this. It says, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. So God also has woolly hair. Right? This is what you have to understand. God is black. God is a nigga, man. You understand? He is the nigga God. Christ is the nigga God. Or it's like, I don't want to say nigga God, even though that's accurate. People will misunderstand it. God, Christ is a nigga, just like you and I are a nigga. You understand? And God is a nigga. He's the nigga God. Okay? And he has woolly hair, just like his son Christ has woolly hair. Okay? His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. So he also has wheels, man. You understand? His wheels are on fire. Right? Like, think of it like this. You ever seen a man, you ever seen a brother, if you're from Florida, you understand this. If you're from Texas, you understand this. I mean, really, if you are black, you can pretty much understand this. When a brother got on some wheel, he got some 30-inch rims on his tires. Right? He got 30-inch rims. What you say? You like, damn, them shit's fire. They on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the same thing that Daniel was seeing when he saw the Most High's throne. It's like, damn, his throne is on fire. It's lit. You understand? That for you younger cats who was born in the 2000s. I'm a 90s baby myself. But you understand, you younger cats, y'all understand that Ezekiel was saying that his throne was lit. Okay? So his throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Verse 10, a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. All right, and I'm going to show you all that. If you're on TikTok, you won't be able to see it, but if you're on YouTube, you will. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to get us in that algorithm so that this truth gets out. Babu Kusha. All right, so something like this. If you're on YouTube and Facebook, you can see something like this, right? How there's a laser pointing out, but it's really also like the first image I showed you. How there was a light coming down from the center of the so-called UFO. You understand? There also are images of these so-called UFOs in Hollywood shooting out fiery streams, okay, as described in Daniel. So I'm showing you all this to show you that Hollywood is getting this depiction of the UFOs from the Bible. This is all in the Bible. And what are these things? For one, they are cursed from the Most High. Meaning, if you see this, this is why the oppressor is so afraid of UFOs. This is why he makes movies like Independence Day. This is why he makes movies like Mars Attack, right? Or Martian Attack, whatever the hell it's called. This is why he makes those movies, because he's afraid of the day that the Lord is going to exact judgment on him for all the evil that he's committed in this earth, for all the wickedness he's done to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And that's his curse. He's going to have to face that. And when World War III breaks off, he's not going to have to worry about Russia. He's not going to have to worry about Ukraine or Palestine. he's going to have to worry about the Most High God and his 100 million angels. The Lord is coming with 100 million UFOs with laser beams and lights and eyes and all of that good stuff to exact vengeance, to what's the word? To render his fury. All right. And with that, we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Hall, New York, under Commander General Yohana. If you have any questions, you understand, make sure that you reach out to a school near you. Go on YouTube, type in ISUPK in your city. It's like one of the best ways to find a school near you. Also tune in every week, every day of the week for classes. You understand? If you need information for a school near you, you can absolutely send me a message. Put it in the comments in the next class, and I'll get you in contact with the school nearest you. If you're in the Jackson, Mississippi area, you definitely want to reach out to the school. What else? That's it. All right. So that's Shalom. Yahweh Bashem. Hold up. Let me try to see. That's Shalom. Yahweh Bashem. Yahweh Shabrak. Thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemar. Thun Bashem. Yahweh Shah to all the sisters.